India today has accessed that preliminary report into the June 12 crash of Air India Dreamliner in Ahmedabad. And when you go through these pages, each page is more horrifying than the other. This Air India Dreamliner 787-8 crashed in Ahmedabad. 270 passengers were killed. Now, this preliminary report confirms both engines failed seconds after takeoff when the fuel cutoff switches unexpectedly shifted from run to cutoff. The cockpit voice recorder, it reveals confusion between the pilots, with one questioning the shutdown, the other denied initiating the shutdown, and they quickly tried to reignite the engine. One failed. The ram air turbine, or RAT, deployed, indicating complete loss of power. And unfortunately, the aircraft, as you can see in those images, crashed just 32 seconds after liftoff. Now, data from the black box, that's also been analyzed, and that showed engine number 1, it started to recover, but engine number 2 failed to restart despite multiple attempts within those 32 seconds. And this indicates that there was a massive failure. Investigators actually, so far in this preliminary report, have said they found no signs of either sabotage or technical fault. They've also confirmed it wasn't poor weather. There was no significant bird activity in the area. And I will read out those passages of this report, all these 15 pages. It's actually horrifying what happens. It records every movement of that ill-fated Dreamliner. It confirms the pilots were experienced, they were rested, they were medically fit. The flap and the landing gear, the settings were absolutely normal for takeoff. But the cause behind the switch malfunction, and was this malfunction because we are now going to rely on the 2018 FAA report of the United States of America. And those were Boeing 737 pilots that reported it, but even Boeing gave details that the same switch is used in multiple aircraft, as I will tell you over the course of the next 1 hour, that this was a disaster waiting to happen. That, of course, remains a matter under investigation. Boeing, of course, says they will fully support investigators, but they refuse to accept responsibility for the fuel switch issue. They've, of course, declined to comment on the malfunction. It is worth noting, and I want you to look at this 2018 report that India Today has accessed. This is the 2018 FAA report. This 2018 US Aviation Bulletin had recommended inspecting the locking feature of fuel switches to prevent this accidental shift. The report very clearly says the Special Airworthiness Information Bulletin is to advise registered owners and operators of the Boeing company Model 717-200 airplanes, Model 737-700, and then it lists all the other models. And mark these words very carefully: of the potential for disengagement of the fuel control switch locking feature. So 2018, this was pointed out. What does it say? Model 737 airplanes, they've received reports from operators that the fuel control switch were installed with the locking feature disengaged. If the locking feature is disengaged, the switch can be moved between two positions without lifting the switch during transition. And the switch would be exposed to the potential. It would be exposed to the potential of inadvertent operations. Inadvertent operations of the switch could result in unintended consequences, such as an in-flight engine shutdown. This was 2018. Sadly, this is what the preliminary report indicates happened in 2025. Air India has expressed solidarity with the families of victims. They say they've continued to cooperate with the authorities as this investigation progresses. But if this was known in 2018, that there is a potential that something like this could happen, Why wasn't it sorted out between 2018 and 2025? I want to quickly cut across to India Today's Amit Bharadwaj joining me on this broadcast. Ankit Kumar is explaining this, because what is this switch? Why does it have this potential to shut down, and on details of this? But Amit, to you first. These 15 pages make a horrifying read. Amit. Okay, Amit, give me a moment. MOS Civil Aviation is speaking. I want to cut across and listen in.
तो ब्लैक बॉक्स बाहर के देशों में भेजने की व्यवस्था थी, क्योंकि वहाँ जाना पड़ता था। लेकिन अब हमारे देश में ऐसे लैब बने हैं जहाँ इस ब्लैक बॉक्स का पूरी उसकी जांच हुई। यह भी एक ऑटोनॉमस अथॉरिटी है, बिना कोई इंटरफेरेंस के वो काम करती है। और उन्होंने जो रिपोर्ट पेश किया, ये प्राइमरी रिपोर्ट है, ये प्राथमिक रिपोर्ट है, ये अंतिम रिपोर्ट नहीं है। तो मुझे लगता है कि उसमें जो आया है कि वो तो सबके सामने है, अभी भी वो ये सब घटनाएं जांच के दायरे में है। तो फाइनल उस पर कुछ कमेंट करना अभी सही नहीं है, ये उचित नहीं होगा। फाइनल रिपोर्ट आने तक मेरी भी आपको सबको रिक्वेस्ट रहेगी कि फाइनल रिपोर्ट आने तक कोई भी निष्कर्ष हम न निकले, क्योंकि हम अगर कोई निष्कर्ष निकालते हैं तो उसके बहुत सारे अर्थ सामने आते हैं। तो कोई निष्कर्ष ना निकाले, ये भी मेरे आपसे सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है। ये एडवांस लैब टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से ब्लैक बॉक्स की जांच चल रही है, और प्राइमरी रिपोर्ट के आधार पर अभी कुछ कहना मुझे लगता है उचित नहीं होगा।
जिस तरह फ्यूल कट ऑफ हो गया है कहा गया, तो मंत्रालय का क्या इस पर?
नहीं, मैंने कहा मंत्रालय सीधा इसमें कोई दखल अंदाजी नहीं करती। यह भी एक ऑटोनॉमस अथॉरिटी है, उनके हिसाब से वो काम करते हैं। तो उन्होंने भी कहा है कि जो संवाद हुआ है वो भी सामने आया है, लेकिन उस संवाद से हम किसी निष्कर्ष पे नहीं पहुंच सकते, क्योंकि उन्होंने यही कहा है कि ये प्राइमरी रिपोर्ट है। प्राथमिक रिपोर्ट के अनुसार जो सामने आया है, मुझे लगता है कि और थोड़ा समय देना चाहिए, तो हम फाइनल उसमें एक्चुअली क्या हुआ, सिचुएशन क्या थी, रीज़न क्या है, तो उस पर आ सकते हैं फाइनल रिपोर्ट के बाद।
कितना समय लग सकता है ना, क्योंकि कोई मल्टी
नहीं, मुझे लगता है कि यह भी देखो कितना अच्छा काम कर रही है। मैंने अभी भी कहा कि हमें हेलीकॉप्टर का भी एक्सीडेंट होता है तो हमें बाहर देश भेजना पड़ता था ब्लैक बॉक्स को। तो अभी तो हमारे देश में चला, 1 महीने के अंदर तो उनका प्राथमिक रिपोर्ट आया है। तो मुझे लगता है कि ये हमारा अच्छे काम कर रही है। दूसरा मैं कहना चाहूँगा कि हमारे पायलट हो, हमारे क्रू है, देश भर में, विश्व में एक अच्छे नाम है उनका, वो उनका काम अच्छी तरह से जाना जाता है। मुझे लगता है कि हम उसी एंगल से देखें, जो आएगा वो सामने आएगा। थँक्यू।
जो संवाद त्यामध्ये व्हायरल झाले 2 पायलटांमधले, त्या रिपोर्टमधले, त्याचं किती
हे बघा, त्याच्यामध्ये जे म्हटलंय कि फ्यूल का स्विच ऑफ हो गया, दूसरा दो को पायलट था कि उन्होंने यही कहा है कि मैंने नहीं किया है। इसका मतलब है की फ्युएलचं बटन बंद झालंय, तो म्हणतो मी नाही केलं, याचा अर्थ तुम्ही काहीच निष्कर्ष काढू शकत नाही, कारण तेवढा वेळही नाही मिळाला। आणि शेवटी मशीन असतं, मशीनमध्ये टेक्निकली प्रॉब्लेम कधी येऊ शकतात। त्यामुळे मी असंच म्हणेन आपल्याला पुन्हा एकदा की आपण अंतिम काही निष्कर्षावरती आता येऊ नये। आपल्यालाही सगळ्यांना माझी विनंती राहील की मागे असंच झालं की ब्लॅक बॉक्स आता विदेशात जाणार, अमेरिकेत जाणार, काही आवश्यकता नाही, गेलाच नाही। व कुठल्या तरी ठोस माहितीच्या आधारे आपणही सगळ्यांनी, मला असं वाटतं की या गोष्टी सांभाळायला पाहिजेत, संवेदनशील विषय आहे। त्यामुळे अंतिम रिपोर्ट येईपर्यंत आपण वाट बघूया।
धन्यवाद। ये बैकग्राउंड
एक हिंदी त्याला दिले दूरदर्शन, हे नाही मराठी करूया।
So that's Muralidhar Mohol, Minister of State Civil Aviation, and he's making it very clear. This is a preliminary report. Based on the preliminary report, do not come to the conclusion why that fuel switch was switched off, and that conversation between the pilot and the co-pilot, with the pilot asking the co-pilot, why have you shut off both the engines and fuel switches, and he says, no, I haven't done it, and that's recorded on the cockpit voice recorder. The other point he's making, that in the good old days, you would have to send the cockpit voice recorder and the data recorder, the flight data recorder to the United States. But now India has the capabilities to do it, and this has been done by an independent body within the country. Is that an indication that India is indicating that no, you cannot mess around with any reports? It's an independent body that's coming to preliminary facts. Amit, they've come to preliminary facts as of now. It will take some time for the detailed report to come out, but this is very, very alarming what happened and why the fuels were on switch off mode.
Gaurav, for our viewers' understanding, usually the primary reports or the initial reports do not come with such specifics which has come out in this AI 171 crash AAIB report. So that itself is a big leap that the agency and the probing agencies who have been working in tandem, whether it be the AIB or the NTSB or other experts who were roped in for this particular probe, have been able to achieve. And that too, when I say that, we need to note that on 24th of June, the black boxes were brought to the national capital and taken to the AIB labs, and NTSB had actually flown in a very crucial technical support a device in order to decode and analyze these particular black boxes. So it's work in tandem, joint work, and AIB has actually taken a leap in that way when it comes to the initial report, because now we know that this fuel cutoff switch is something that will be the primary focus of the agencies. What will happen from here on? Three angles. Number one, the probing agency will look into whether this was technical glitch or whether it was manual error. That has to be identified. So two angles. Third one is, if it was a technical glitch, whether it was because of primary problem with the engine fuel cutoff switch, or there were other components which might have led to this particular situation.
Okay.
The FAR bulletin is definitely going to be one of the focal points in this entire investigation. Boeing has a lot to explain. So
absolutely.
So will Air India have to explain in front of the probing agency.